Hello, and welcome to the Book Doctor's YouTube channel.
So we had a very interesting experience this week. We are preparing for the 10th annual NaNoWriMo Pitch-a-Palooza. NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month, which takes place every November, and people have to write a minimum of 50,000 words to be a winner. They have events. It's an organization that has events all throughout the year. And every year we have a Pitch-a-Palooza dedicated to people who have been in NaNoWriMo. And we get hundreds of pitches, and we have to read them all in 2 weeks' time. But generally we wait till the last second to have to read them all. So we read all these pitches.
Ladies and gentlemen, I read 500 pitches in 2 days.
I took a little more time. So we talk a lot about what makes for a successful pitch.
Yeah.
But when you read hundreds in a very short amount of time, there are certain truths.
Yes.
Which become self-evident. Very
all pitches are not created equal.
They are not.
They're not.
They are not.
Nope.
And
certain things recur, that mistakes that people make over and over and over.
So we just want to talk about some of the things that really stuck out.
Yes.
Because we even have a video called Mistakes People Make Pitching.
Right.
But again, it's a different thing than an overwhelm and what you remember of what really either bothered you or whatever.
Yes.
So one of the things that I found most annoying is that people didn't follow the directions at all. So
They're not difficult directions, honestly, either.
Some people just sent an excerpt of their book instead of a pitch, so we didn't read it. Other people sent an attachment when they weren't supposed to send an attachment.
It says very clearly.
Other people wrote things about that made notes saying that they had to do something that they didn't have to do, so they read the directions incorrectly. And immediately, this made me not inclined to want to read their pitch.
Because, when you first are in contact with someone, you're in the honeymoon period, and, you're looking to see if this person is someone you would like to have a relationship with. Are they going to show up on time? Are they going to be able to follow the simplest directions? It's not even hard yet.
It seems, what it makes the person seem like is that they're either really sloppy or disrespectful.
Or stupid.
So if you're querying an agent or a publisher, do you want to come off as sloppy or disrespectful?
Or stupid.
Absolutely not.
No, you don't.
Okay, that's my number one. What's your number one?
She got all worked up there, didn't
What's your number
one? Okay, my number one is, I had about 7 number ones come through me, but I'm not even a stickler for grammar or spelling because I can't really spell. No one ever taught me grammar, which
That's very encouraging for people who want to hire us as editors.
Well, I never claimed to do grammar or spelling. I didn't claim to do. I'm not going to edit your spelling or your grammar. Know that. You do not want me to edit your grammar or spelling. I have other skills. However, when I read a pitch and it's 250 words and 8 of the words are wrong, I just go no. Even if it's a good story with good characters, and I just go no. I can't get behind this. It's too unprofessional. And it annoys me. After a while, I start getting annoyed by it. I really do. The other thing that I noticed that is such.
I thought it's my turn.
You go.
Okay. I'm waiting here so patiently.
This was your patience?
Yeah. Okay, the next thing that drives me crazy is when people say things like, if I had to describe my book, I would say, you don't need any of those words at the beginning.
Because you do have to
There's
describe
so many people who preface the pitch with some kind of blah, blah, blah. You do have to describe
Yes, you do have. It's not an if. No. You really have to describe it right now.
That's what the whole point of this is. So it again points to just someone who is not fully embracing the challenge or not quite understanding what it is.
Or how, and by the way, of course, the pitch is on the back of every single book ever written.
Yeah.
So all you have to do is to see what a pitch is you just look on the back of any book.
Right.
And, hopefully look at 100 of them in your genre and you see what they all do. It's not that hard to see what it should be. It's a very accepted form, the pitch.
What's your next
Okay,
one, honey?
So for me, I really get annoyed by generalizations. She's a beautiful princess. Someone put in a pitch, a tall, dark, handsome stranger. It's like, it was a dark and stormy night. Those sort of cliches and these pitches, so many of them had so much cliche in them. How do you know it's a cliche? Well, that's a good question. The answer, I think, is just by reading a lot.
Yeah, if you've heard the expression
A
many
million
times before,
right.
then it tends to be a cliche.
Yeah. So that, I've become annoyed quickly by that. Because this is your audition to show us what a beautiful writer you are, how many skills you have, how you can put sentences together in unexpected and beautiful ways, 250 words. If you can't convince me in those 250 words, I'm not probably going to say yes.
Okay, next thing that annoys me is there are so many fantasy sci-fi pitches that we read. And the trouble spot for almost everybody writing fantasy and sci-fi is that every book sounds exactly the same. You literally can interchange.
A troubled, geeky teenager is getting bullied, and then they discover they have superpowers, and there's some evil force that's trying to destroy the world, and it's them alone with possibly a tag of plucky, ragtag underdogs.
Or a princess from planet Verva, or however you pronounce these unpronounceable words. Her planet is under siege and blah, blah, blah. Then you read a sci-fi or fantasy pitch that has a voice.
And characters.
Actual world building.
And characters.
And the whole thing comes to life. And it's just following all the tropes and using the cliches is the easiest way to just get someone to shut off.
Yes.
And if you're in a genre where those tropes are so common, whether it's romance or thrillers or whatever, you have to be especially careful not to fall into those traps. Otherwise, someone's going to fall asleep by the time they finish the pitch.
Familiar, yet unique.
Mm-hmm.
So it can't be something that is completely outside of all of our experience. We have to be familiar with it. However, and in these genres, yes, of course, there's certain things that are valued highly in these stories. But the new mousetrap, how is, like, for instance, the evil villain, Schmergerman, comes and destroys everything. Well, how is your evil villain different than every other villain that has ever graced the pages of, or the screen of a story? How is yours different? How are you going to take this idea that has been so used and overused oftentimes and make it, how is your dragon different? What is the twist that you're going to put on this thing?
Or the language from your book. We both just read The Giver. And there's all this very unique language. That's language we know. Instead of calling a baby is called a new child.
Yeah.
So those kinds of phrases, and you know immediately what it is. So to bring those into your pitch. Now, all of this said, there were some amazing pitches.
Jaw-dropping.
And I think we should just say one thing each about what really stayed with us. Just to...
I want to say one more thing. Sorry.
Okay.
that a lot of people did. This is a mistake I see over and over again, and then this will be the last one.
Okay.
So they make this elaborate beginning to a story. They set up a story. So we have the characters, we have the world, we have the conflict, and that's it. There is not a plot of any kind. And if you're pitching a book that's supposed to have a plot, when you don't have a plot, that is a problem. So you just need 3 little incidents, pieces of action that build intention, just to show us give us a taste of what the plot is going to be, what kind of action is going to be in the book. That solves that problem.
Okay, I'm going to say quickly my 2 favorite things, and you say your 2 favorite things. So one of the things that makes the biggest difference, even if the pitch is not written quote unquote correctly, is the voice.
Yeah.
When I read something that has a great voice, I'm immediately drawn to it, no matter what. So that's number 1. Number 2, weirdly, is people's bios. The 2 or 3 sentences, if people include a bio, which they should. I don't care if I'm not talking about writing awards, anything. I'm just talking about interesting things that people have done. Those people come to life for me.
I love a pitch when there's a character that touches me here and here, at least in those 2 places, possibly other places. So many pitches, there's cardboard. Sometimes there's not even a character in a pitch. It's so weird. In a novel, in a story, there's no characters in it. Or there are these flat characters that you've seen a million times. When there's a unique character that has contradictory things going on, they're good and they're bad. They do great things and they do horrible things. And I'm rooting for them. People make me root for a character to succeed in 250 words. When someone does that, I don't care about a lot of other things. If someone can really engage me with a character that I fall in love with. And you think about the great books that you love, and almost all of them have really characters that we attach our hearts and our brains to. So for me, that is a number 1. And then I like when somebody can ingest some sort of humor and style and some unexpected way of playing with the form of a pitch, and makes the pitch their own unique thing that I haven't seen. I know that's a little vague, but you can just feel it immediately. It's almost like, I used to be an actor, and eventually I was sitting on the other side watching actors come in and audition, and some people would just come in and they didn't even say they open their mouths. They just had a way of sitting and talking. That's what it's like in a pitch. When a writer has just the words flow beautifully and they're interesting and unique.
So here is our challenge to you.
Yes.
We want you to read 100 pitches in a row. All you have to do is go onto an online bookseller.
Or go into your...
Or go into a store and look at the back or the description of 100 books, and don't stop until you do. This is the greatest lesson that you can have on pitch writing.
And if you find a pitch that you think is just perfect, send it to us.
Absolutely.
I would love to see that. Like what you guys think is, here's a pitch that if only I could write that. Because I've read a couple of those where I'm like, ooh, I'm kind of jealous that I wasn't the one who wrote that.
All right, everybody. See you at the bookstore.
See you at the bookstore. I was premature there. Here's my impression of myself afterwards. Oh. Did you feel that? NaNoWriMo is a fantastic organization, and I highly encourage everyone to participate in it if you have any desire whatsoever, because they're really such supportive human beings.